tags gonna be on there now.
Okay. We'll slide it over. Just kind of give a rundown who you are, how you got in the industry, and where you landed, what you're doing now, and then from there, Mara slide right into her first. Okay, I gotta ask my first question. Okay. And then we'll take it from there.
Did you have to get? Did you have?
You notice how she did? Because we stumbled a little bit last time, and I don't want us to the podcast. It's on Facebook. You on the page? Is that it?
Right now, it should say live.
I ain't gonna worry about doing that today.
Let me see.
Okay, she there.
Somebody just asked about a station too, a podcast station.
There you go. Now you
Wait, here you go. Right here.
and then they come.
Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
The content you're about to hear is a part of a paid programming segment. The views, opinions, and statements expressed belong solely to the sponsor and do not reflect those of Podcastic or its host. This segment is for informational and promotional purposes only and should not be considered as advice or endorsement. Listener discretion is advised.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Good afternoon. Happy Thursday, folks. We're here with A State of Mind podcast, and you know we're going to do what we do best, talk about real estate, and dive in today's topic about property management, landlords, tenants, everything. And of course, I got my panel here. I got a special guest joining us, Mrs. Tierra Petway of Sunbeam Property Management, and I'm going to go ahead, kick it off for us. T, introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
What up, Zoe? I am Mrs. Tierra Petway. I am the owner of Sunbeam Property and Construction Management, which is powered by the Realty team. We are a licensed real estate brokerage for both residential and commercial properties. We also do full service management, maintenance service. We also manage large maintenance construction projects with a collaboration of over 20 plus contractors, licensed contractors.
That's dope.
And we also hold a licensed builder in-house as well.
Talk your shit. Go ahead, Black woman.
Listen, busyness comes with a cost. Heavy is the crown, okay? Who wears it? But I was introduced in the industry 21 years ago this July. I started off working with corporate America. I went off on my own. It'll be 10 years this year. On Juneteenth, we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Amen.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge.
And of course, we got our girl,
What
Emma
up, y'all?
Elder Howell at Detroit Title and Escrow.
What up, though? It's your favorite title lady, Emma, Detroit Title and Escrow, out here doing what we do. Thank you again. It's another Thursday, our first Thursday in 2026, and we ready to talk about real estate and what goes on behind the scene. It looks good to shine in the glimmer. It looks good.
It's so
But
pretty.
what does it take for us to get to the shine and the glimmer? And
Oh,
then
my God.
Once
Talk
it's
about it.
once it's all done, it's dull again. Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to see you, Miss Tierra. How are you?
I just love you so
10 years, 12, 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since we
It's
all been
adding up.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Stuck together.
Yeah, now home buyers event in Pontiac.
Yeah. That was crazy. I remember that.
We need to run that one back.
We do.
Definitely.
We do.
Most definitely.
So let me kick it off with you, Tierra. Let's dive right into the nitty gritty because, you know, landlords are on the rise for properties, every day. An investor is looking to invest. Mm-hmm. They're looking to purchase a home. They want to throw a tenant in it. And, of course, they want to earn income, right?
Right.
So as far as the property management process, how do you handle it? Because, it's because I got in the industry. How do you handle it when you get that client that has a vacant property? Mm-hmm. And, of course, their first question is, how long is it going to take to get a tenant?
How soon do you want to qualify?
So,
because the thing is, a lot of these investors, first off, to be transparent, some investors are not fully equipped to jump into the real estate game. I think that they lack a lot of education and experience, and it set them up for failure. Because I've seen investors who they're taking their 401ks. They're pulling from their livelihood and gambling. I hate to use that word, but gambling in something considered as the real estate industry, no different than any other investment tool. But they just don't lack the experience. They don't have the right team to start off with. And that team starts all the way from title. It starts all the way from sales. So by the time the property manager comes in, we typically adopt an issue before you can even put a tenant. And that's majority of the situation. It's very rare, or the percentage is lower, where you have investors who's actually coming in, they have a system, they have a team, and they're like, hey, we just plug it in, let's move forward. But by the time we come in, we're like, first off, we need to know the condition of the property.
Amen.
For the liability of the owner and for the management company.
Yes.
We need to know where you stand from compliance.
Yes.
Are you compliant? If you're not compliant, if so, what are the steps to getting compliant?
And can you afford to get compliant?
And if you can afford to get compliant. Some of these owners are overpaying for these properties. So by the time they see the repair or the compliance list, they're having full nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Their emotions isn't even intact to deal with this challenge, and everything falls on the property management team. And they're like, I just need money coming in. But it's not that simple.
It's not.
Because for your liability protection as well as ours, I can't just put a tenant who's also, they got liability too. They have rights as well. And it's just, unfortunately, I feel like we need to build something in the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan, to protect our community, our real estate community just as a whole, starting with the investment groups.
So can you paint the picture just briefly, from the point that an investor has acquired a property and they call you? I'm thinking the first question you'll say is, well, do you have your recorded deed? I'm guessing, I don't know. But then from that point, just briefly, what's next? You know?
We asked them from consultation, do you have your property insurance? Is your deed recorded? Is your property transfer affidavit recorded? Is your utilities, your owner utility account established? If not, let's get that established, because they can buy a property and they got a $4,000 bill
outside of a water
deed
bill,
and they don't know.
They might have like a DTE,
water bill,
DTE.
And even I've seen in situations where DTE has a significant block on the property from prior history before this property got transferred. And this owner now has to adopt that issue because there's this huge fraud block. So now you have systems cut at the pole.
Yes.
You have systems that, even from the water, you have systems that's cut at the street. And they're thinking they can just call and have services, and it's like, no, now you got to go to planning. That's a whole nother department. So now we're at a 6 to 8 week delay just on utilities before we get to repairs.
This is even before we're talking about finding a tenant. We haven't even started. So we're still at DTE and water and planning and insurance. We haven't even gotten to
a tenant.
A tenant. No. But best case scenario, let's say if the property is, they purchase a property, they have a great realtor who made sure that they have a certificate of compliance during the sales transaction. They have a solidified, reliable inspection report.
From a certified inspector. Not from a contractor.
Correct.
Okay.
Certified inspector.
Correct. Because we request that too. We request that too before retaining the client. We ask them, if you had a home inspection report, can we see a copy of it? Because we just need to know, we need to know everything that we're adopting, because now we're in the relationship with you. And we're going into this relationship with this new tenant together. So when we do get to the point where we say, okay, now we're ready for marketing, we have to know what we're marketing, the product that we're marketing, the features and amenities of the property, and what's the fair market rent
Yeah.
For that area.
for that area. And then once we start marketing, then what audience? Are we looking for Section 8 residents?
I only want a Section 8 tenant.
Well, first off, that's not illegal. Yeah, it's a fair housing violation now.
Oh, so that's discrimination now?
Very
As
much
of
so.
April of 2025.
Very much so. I only want to rent to Section 8. Okay, well, good luck
So we're
to you.
discriminating based on the income. So I'm assuming that falls
The
under
source of income.
Yeah,
the source of income.
yeah.
And that came because of COVID. All these owners, that's all they wanted. They wanted Section 8 tenants, Section 8 tenants, Section 8 tenants. But what about the hardworking employed, tenants who qualify?
Yeah.
But you just won't accept me because I don't have a housing voucher.
Yeah.
So that was
Or
a
you get the
protective
one-
clause that went in place.
Or you
last
get the
year.
one where they see the voucher where the tenant's portion is high. So the tenant may get $1,800 as a voucher.
As a voucher.
But her portion may be $900 or his portion may be $900,
Okay.
right? So now they're like, whoa, that's too risky. Well, no, it's a good thing. That means that they can
have skin in the
afford
game, too.
They can afford to pay this portion because they have a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
100% voucher means these people show on paper they have no income.
Right.
Which is a liability because now you have to think about it. This person is showing on paper they have no money.
Okay.
They don't have any portion. So how are they going to pay the utilities?
Right. Well, no, what about those who have those large 100% voucher covered amounts?
Yeah.
And then they have a good 6-7 occupants.
That's
That's also a part of this voucher, which is why the voucher amount is so high.
Yeah.
And some owners care, some of them
Yeah.
don't. You have a lot, unfortunately, who don't, and they have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And then now they're tearing up my property.
Yeah, because you got a 19-year-old on there. You got a 7.
You drive
So
past
all
the
of
property, look
those
like Baghdad.
occupants are listed on the voucher.
They
Yeah.
are.
So do they go on the lease?
They do. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to by law. You can't even complete the Section 8 process if the voucher doesn't match with the lease.
Okay. I want to come back to that because just from in the industry, I know that there's. Well, let me ask now, and then we'll come back to some of the other things that you mentioned. There is, on top of everything that you do, making sure that the home meets the in
compliance.
consultation with you to make sure that one, you want to take this potential client on,
Right.
and they have all the documentation that fits, and you do take them on, and you do start looking for an applicant, and perhaps it is a Section 8 applicant that you find.
Yeah.
Section 8 comes out and they require a Section 8 inspection as well, right?
Yep, they sure do. They come out. They will do an inspection depending on the housing agency. You may have some agencies, they'll come out within a week. You have some who will come out in about 6 weeks. So now the property's sitting vacant, waiting for an inspection the whole time. When they do come out, they will identify in accordance to HUD rules and regulations what may or may not be a violation or what meets compliance. This is totally separate than the state of Michigan building code rules and regulations. They're somewhat aligned, but they're really,
So there's
they're
extra
really far apart.
Extra stuff that they may need, they being the
It
investor.
can be
or
at
the
the
owner?
discretion of the inspector.
Really?
It could be at it could be at the discretion of the inspector. And they come out and they say they identify some things that need to get done. They send a correction list over. You then have a certain time period to address those corrective items. And once they come out, they expect that all of these corrective items are done correctly.
Really?
If they are not, they will fail the inspection. And then now you gotta deal with those failed items and go from there. If you fail so many, then they'll just tell the resident, go find somewhere else because this owner can't get it together.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some common, I guess, just some of the common things that you find Section 8 require before we go back to?
Before we go in or after?
No,
Oh, okay.
the common.
Just overall,
yeah,
what may come up. Typically, windows not functioning properly can be one, and that's where you gotta come in ahead of time and try and catch those things. If a window is not staying up by itself, meaning it needs no assistance to operate. If it doesn't lock, then that window is not compliant. If you're missing smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, if your carbon monoxide smoke detector combo is not in the right spot, you can have it installed, but if it's not located in the right area. So say, for instance, in a basement area.
Okay.
When you go down the basement stairs, there's typically a ceiling above the landing.
Right.
It has to go right there.
Oh,
It has to
okay.
be visible.
Yeah.
Once you come down the stairs, before you reach that final flight of stairs, you have to be able to see it right
Okay.
there. It has to be visible because you get a better read for carbon monoxide from the furnace.
Or the grounded outlets.
That's a big thing. People throw in 3-prong, and it's like, okay, where's your ground?
Yeah. It's not
Where your
grounded.
ground at? So now they got to go through the whole house, and they have to switch over to 2-prong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so that's a common thing. Trip hazards.
Yeah.
Trip hazards, very common. You can come out to a property and they say like, hey, this is a significant trip hazard. You need to address this.
Really?
Anything that's considered as a health safety hazard can come up, but I would say that those are some of the most common. If you have your hot water tank or furnace not properly installed, you had a handyman install it and not a licensed mechanical contractor,
Oh, handyman.
then
Oh, handyman.
that
not
you'll be
with you
surprised
today.
on how often. you'll be surprised on how often that could come
how do
up.
they know if the handyman?
But they know if it looks like it's to compliance. They know if you're a licensed mechanical contractor that you're supposed to meet mechanical code when it comes to the safety of the overall flow, the leak of carbon monoxide, making sure that you're addressing any possible leaks or rust.
Yeah.
You know, they're looking at all of that.
Lead paint base, is that
it's
still
paint, chip
is that
paint.
still
Yeah.
a
It
thing?
It is. It will always be a thing.
It will always
Yeah.
be a thing.
As long as it's chip paint, it's a thing. Some people go in and they call themselves reglazing tubs,
Right.
but then they don't do it right. And then the moment that a little bit of water hit it, you got just a little bit of lifting. That's a violation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And
okay.
again, it depends on the inspector. I've had an inspector come out and say that they performed an inspection and didn't go into the house.
Shut up.
I promise you. I won't state the housing agency.
Oh, no.
we don't do that.
No,
We don't. No, we're not gonna do that.
We don't wanna
But
drop
just
that.
know-
Just know it's the people out here that do it.
We definitely did have to file a complaint because at the end of the day, it puts the tenant and their household
Yes.
at a liability. It's no benefit to the landlord with that.
So let's talk about that. Lead, mold, all of those things, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding behind the whole escrow with rent when the repairs are not getting done. And I hate that because I see a lot of people sharing and posting like, oh, well, you can just hold the money in escrow from your landlord and not pay the rent if they don't do the repairs. But you're about to get somebody evicted because if that property has a COC, right?
regardless if it has a COC or not.
Yeah.
The way that is viewed, according to the Landlord Tenant Act, you have to provide public notice to your landlord.
You as in the tenant.
You
so
as
we're
a
clear.
tenant, there is
Okay.
an escrow letter
Okay.
you need to serve. First off, you need documentation that you reported that, and you have to prove negligence. I reported it. I'm not getting anywhere. This is negligent. I'm moving forward. I'm exercising my rights.
As
You
a
then
tenant.
send an escrow letter. When you send an escrow letter, you have to have proof that that payment is in an account.
Okay.
And that not only the proof of payment, you also have to show what bank, what institution, or if you went to the city of Detroit and opened up an escrow account. And then from that point is when you continue to,
Put into the escrow account or
you continue to put the money into the escrow account.
So
until
what
it's
escrow
secured.
account do this go into? Will it go to Emma at the title company?
No, typically it will go to either you could go down to the city of Detroit and you can open up an escrow account, or you can open up a separate bank account specifically for escrow purposes.
Okay.
And you have to continue to provide proof of deposits. Now, most landlords, they will initiate legal action. So when you go to court, you have this documentation showing, listen, I'm not being uncooperative as a tenant.
Right.
I'm cooperating. I just need you to uphold your end as a landlord, so then that way there's no neglect. And then I'll be glad to give you all the escrow money.
In escrow money, and let's just be clear, I've taken the steps that you've identified, and I've opened up the escrow account, and I've taken 1 month's worth of rent, and I've put in there because I wasn't happy in July.
Right.
And I've notified you. I've done everything, but I'm still not happy in August. I should be still making August payment into
In
this
escrow.
account.
In escrow.
It's not me saying payment is $900 and I'm only going. I got $450 this month, and I'm only going to drop $450 in there.
Or I feel like because I've suffered, then I should only pay this amount. That's another thing as well, which really the only person that could dictate that is a judge.
Right.
As to what is fair abatement cost per day that you have suffered.
Right.
Unless you come into a mutual agreement with you and your landlord who you have a relationship with.
But again, to be clear to the audience, if you take these necessary steps. It's not saying, well, I set up the escrow account and I put 1 month in there. If you're truly doing this the proper way, your plan is you want to pay your rent and you will set this money aside, but you don't want to surrender it to the owner until they do what you feel, whatever those repairs are. Correct. So you're going to make your rent payments in good faith into the escrow account,
right?
And not with the title company. I get the calls, and no, we do not hold or set up, and you know, we do not set those up. So I generally just send them to the city of Detroit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
So another case on my desk, right? So let's talk about the property transfer affidavit. So I get listings, our clients like you do, who handles the actual property transfer affidavit from the time that agent closes with their investor and they're like, hey, I got a new client for you. Who's responsible for getting that property transfer affidavit recorded?
The owner.
Ooh.
The owner.
Let's say it again.
The owner.
Because
if you look at your closing documents, you will see that you signed a form stating that you own responsibility to not only complete this transfer affidavit, but also to have it recorded.
So not the title company.
Not the title company.
No.
Now, Emma, have you ever said, you know what, I'm going to do a favor and get it recorded for an investor?
There's been no circumstances where it was arranged in advance.
Okay.
And if they spoke with us and we acknowledged that, yes, we've taken it down there and we've filed it for the investor there out of state. But that's on a rare occasions.
Okay.
It's not part of the duty that we've been paid for to file that property transfer affidavit.
Okay.
At one point, way back when, we were doing a lot of it just because, but then you get that call, why did you file my property transfer affidavit? I didn't want that filed. I didn't want that information on
because
record.
now they got the tax bill.
For whatever
Now
the reason is. There's always a rhyme or reason behind what people do. We can't say if it's right or wrong.
Right.
But the tax bill is going to come to them regardless if it got the right name on it or not. The current owner is responsible.
If the PTA is filed.
Yeah.
See, that's where
Yeah.
things kind of get gray. Because if the property transfer affidavit, abbreviated PTA, is not filed, then the city, which is where the tax bill starts, is going to continue to go whatever address they have historically on record. So it may be that old owner, or it may be the owner before that owner who lost it in the tax sale. That's why you may look on the city site and see a current owner name, but you go to the county website for the delinquent taxes, and you're going to see an owner from four sales back.
Right.
Because one, the records aren't updated, and then two, when the new owner actually does file the property transfer affidavit with the city, it takes about a year for the county records to catch up to that.
True.
So if they don't file it, one would think an out-of-state investor, and I can get the logic behind it, or new agent, new investor, if the warranty deed or if my deed, whatever deed is recorded with the county for Detroit, why isn't my name changed with the property transfer affidavit?
I've had an owner say that he didn't feel he was responsible for the taxes because
he didn't get
the PTA. He didn't get a bill. And I was like, well, you do understand, although it still reflects the old owner, you currently own this
that property.
So
Exactly.
if it forecloses, you lose ownership.
Exactly.
You get that right.
Exactly.
Lord have
exactly.
mercy.
And part of what the county does, doing their foreclosure due diligence, you may not have gotten a tax bill, but the county, they know they'll find you. They'll find you through Laura. They'll find you through Sunbeam. They'll find you through wherever your articles are located. Or if you're an individual, they'll find you through a people finder. They're going to send notices. They're going to post it on the house. So you know, you're going to get noticed. Right. But it's not an automatic transfer. You do have to file that property transfer affidavit.
And there's a fee. I don't know if it's for investors. Where is the $4,500?
It's after 21 days, right?
It's 45 days. You still get the 45 days from
right.
closing. It's $5 a day. I forget the exact amount. And I posted it not too long ago. But for non-primary, I think it's up to like $5,000 or something.
Wow.
And I could be wrong.
They try to put
and
it
it's
to 'em for
$50 a day for commercial. So it's $5 a day after 45 days for residential.
Yeah.
And it's $50 a day for commercial. And if that fee is not paid, and whatever that max amount is, they will transfer it to the tax roll, and it will be in your tax bill.
Okay.
So you're not going to get around it. You're going to have to pay that.
You got to pay it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So investors, property managers.
And you can file online with the city.
You definitely can.
Yeah, you can.
Owners, file your property transfer
file your property
affidavit.
but don't go run and file it now if you ain't filed, because you're gonna have to pay that you know. Call the city.
So wait a
Call the
minute.
city.
Call it before a quick.
No, don't call me. Don't call me with that. Don't say Emma said. No, call the city and plead your case. But that affidavit needs to be filed for more than just taxes.
Yeah.
And Tierra knows this. It needs to be filed so that you can get notice about your blight violations if you have any. So you can get notice about
So Emma,
assessment.
while we're
whatever's
talking
going
about
on.
the blight violations, Tierra, how often is it that an owner does not know that it's blights in the yard, outside the yard? The tenant then set this big Walmart swimming pool up in the backyard.
Oh, that summer boy, that blue one,
Baby, I'm
that
so
the
sick
baby
of them.
sit in with no shirt on and just a diaper. It's
Dirty water in the winter and the cold.
Baby, I got a couple of those.
Stop! I didn't know they still sold those.
I got a couple of those
Carry
going
on.
right now. I was like, this got to come about the
Some of
yard.
them got the little jet capability.
Yeah, the little
now.
thing that
Oh, they upgraded.
We got all those.
And we're done with this one. Put it in the front.
and set it in the front.
Both days coming.
And then here comes a ticket from the city with the blight.
Right.
So the city posts on the property and a mail to the last known address.
Okay.
Depending on who writes the ticket, some may go off the PTA, known as the property transfer affidavit. Some may go off of the address on the deed. If it's an entity who owns the property, they may even go as far as looking up Lara's last, known recorded address. To answer your question, it is very common. I have taken on during this consultation process, when we do our due diligence, we also check for blight. And I had a client that had over 30 plus properties coming over, and I'm like, you have almost 90 tickets
Jesus.
that go as far back as before they owned the property. I've seen as far back as 2008.
Yeah.
2009, and they're still saying, oh, this transfer all the way from there. And these owners, they don't know. And ultimately, it boils down to the title company who managed the transaction if they used a title company.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And blights are not a lien right now, because blights are violations against the residential part. And what you have to understand with title insurance is that title insurance, we are insuring the land.
Okay.
So we're insuring everything that follows with the land. The house is just an added addition there to bring value to that land. So the majority of the time when there's blight violations, it's because it's debris in front of the property. The stairs are considered an unsafe structure.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys that know this, I've seen where they've gotten a violation for possibly not filing the property as being registered or something like
not
that.
registering the property as a rental.
Okay.
Not getting a certificate of compliance.
Yes.
When
Yes.
it did exist, not having a lid clearance.
Yes.
was
Oh,
yeah.
also
Yes.
part of it, and they will keep writing tickets and keep writing
Okay.
tickets.
Yeah,
So-
once they get on that radar, baby.
It's there. So how we perceive it, granted, we get it. It's not a blight, and those blights follow, quote, the owner. But, and I can't speak because every situation is different, but there's cases where if those blights are not paid, they could prevent an owner from getting permits for other things that they're looking to do with their home.
Correct. Yeah, I went through that with my last commercial project. We had to get a blight clearance.
Yes.
And show proof. And we didn't know that my client had a blight violation for her sign. And we were like, there was no notice posted to the door. Nothing had been sent to the recorded address because the owner hadn't changed at this point for over 20 something years.
Right.
But once we were made aware, we had to, address it. But that does affect your permit. Obtained
Let's
process.
talk about permits, because we did have a contract on here. We talked about a little bit about permits. It's always this myth. I think it's a myth. Oh, if we pull a permit for electrical, once the city come in, they're going to want us to pull a permit for plumbing too. Like, I've had a permit pulled for waterproofing. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what the permit was pulled for, a waterproofing job. The city said nothing else about electric, roofing, or anything else, because that wasn't what we were doing.
Yeah.
And to me, I just felt like it was some fluff. because he just didn't really
Fluff from the contractor not wanting to.
Yeah, the contractor.
Oh, so the contractor was basically saying, since this is gonna get addressed anyway, we might as well address it.
Not we might as well, but he's saying it like, oh, if we go ahead and we get this permit pulled for the electrical, the city gonna come in and they gonna automatically say we need to pull it for the plumbing. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't care if they come in and pull a permit, but I know this is not happening because we're not touching plumbing. So because the contractor is the one, or the builder, the licensed builder, is the one that applies for the permit for that specific job, right?
Correct, but it depends on the nature of why they're even coming out. Because if you're coming out for occupancy compliance, they are going to check for everything. That particular inspector is going to let his team know, hey, plumbing, hey, electrical, hey, mechanical, I need you guys to inspect as well, and they make the determination if a permit is needed. And usually they go off of the date of the material when it was installed. They'll look in their records, see it was no permit pull. Hey, I need you to pull a permit. That's usually how that come up. But if you're just getting plumbing done and this is just a one-off for maintenance only, and the owner is like, I just want to do things right by the book, I want to be compliant, then why would the electrical inspector go and look at something he's not experienced even to, let me tell my plumber friend just because, like, that doesn't happen.
Because it was a myth. Now I love property management. I do because we always get our shits and giggles. So this is my favorite one.
Oh, you don't want to talk about the tears.
Right, you're talking about the shits and giggles. Tears,
the crying. Oh my gosh, yes, the crying. The tenant.
I can't make my payments this month.
Oh Lord, I'm so
but
sorry.
JoJo's staying with me.
I gotta chase out. Okay,
Not JoJo.
So we got a lease, and it's always a lady or a family, mom and kids, right? And it's always, perfect home for me and my children. Now it's just, and I'm like, it's just for you and your children. Yes, me and my kids. Da, da, da. Okay, great. They moved.
JoJo come over sometime.
JoJo got his shoes on the front porch, his car in the driveway, pants hanging up in the backyard. JoJo walking around the house with the kids. How do you handle those situations when?
Because he's not on the lease.
Because he's not on the lease, and this could very well be a housing voucher assistant tenant or even a cash paying tenant. It's always this man that pop up out of nowhere. Like, where he come from?
Who is the dog?
I mean, I've ended occupancy for a violation of an occupant, and it was a Section 8 tenant. It was a voucher recipient
Because of something like.
They're not supposed to be there, and we know for a fact you live there. Like, so we documented.
Just because you saw my shoes,
we documented the fact that you live here. Like, we have all these statements from maintenance techs, and they're like, "Yeah, bro, live there." Like, he has clothes in the closet. Like, but they're also, I mean, it's. Once we try to work it out with the tenant first and notify them, hey, you're in lease violation.
Right.
The greatest thing between cash paying tenants and Section 8 tenants is you could tell their caseworker on them.
Okay.
And the caseworker will hold them accountable to the agreement that they have between HUD and that voucher recipient. And if they're in violation, and if they leave and we say, hey, they're not in good standing because X, Y, and Z, they will lose their voucher.
Oh, wow.
So we tell the caseworker, any chance we get when it comes to, you don't want to cooperate. And usually from that point, they turn a whole new leaf.
JoJo leaves.
JoJo gotta go.
JoJo tries to hide out first. JoJo tries not to be there as much.
Come on, quit playing, Joe.
Why JoJo don't want to help pay out Santa this damn rent?
Right. Now, how do you handle... Because I know that the owner requires, or I want to assume that you as the property manager will require, and you mentioned this early on, that they have insurance in place for the property.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's for structural and for fire, and maybe for liability.
Yeah.
Do you encourage that is it mandatory, or is it up to the discretion of the tenant to have content and maybe flood insurance?
We require it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
we require it. The tenants?
Yeah, we require it from the tenant. And with the software system that we have, they have a feature to where if they do not have renter's insurance, they would charge them what's considered as a tenant liability fee.
Okay.
Which it doesn't protect their contents or nothing. It just, in the event if the tenant damaged the property instead of the owner having to file a claim with his insurance and running his insurance payments up, he can just file a claim through their insurance company instead. But we always try to educate the tenant and let them know it's more in your benefit to get content insurance. People don't know if their power go out. You know how we have those power outages, and they go grocery shopping, and now they done lost all
and
their
pick up the swimming pool from Walmart.
You can file a claim. You can file a claim for your loss, and they don't know that basements, if they flood.
Now hold on, because listen, now that's another thing, because and that's something that I'm a real stickler on in my leases. Is that anything in the basement, because it's not considered a livable area, that it is not the responsibility of the landlord. So I let them know that, like, if it flood and you down there with a TV and the bed is not.
But that's where their
living.
content insurance.
That goes for anything, whether it's interior or exterior, their car in the garage, anything. The owner is not responsible for your personal property.
Okay.
That's why you need to obtain renter's insurance, because that's if God forbid, if anything was to happen, then you'll be able to file a renter's insurance claim. I had a tree fall on a garage at one of my properties, and my tenant's car and some other personal items was in there and got damaged. They was able to
now
file a claim.
That insurance, I'm thinking for the car would have fell under their auto.
For the car was the auto. For the other personal property,
items,
they were able to still use their renter's insurance, and then obviously the owner had to file insurance too, because the garage was done.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good to know. Gosh, it was something I wanted to with the blights, going back to the blights, if your client, or based on however the records are, you do receive notification of a blight, they have that appeal time.
Where you have to show up at the front of hearing.
People don't show up.
I'm going to be honest. Well, I'm going to be transparent. The city of Detroit needs to do better with these notices. I have watched. I have watched property owners who I know who are compliant. They do. They have everything right. They did not receive notice, and by the time they received their notice, or even was aware of the issue. Before, they used to provide warnings. You got 24 hours to address this, or I'm writing a ticket. We have not had that grace in a very long time. They've just been writing tickets, which is not fair, because especially if you don't live there. But also, if you can control it. You know what I mean? Some of these owners, again, they don't know, especially if they're not from here. But make a long story short, by the time they find out, I've seen tickets that was written 60 to 90 days ago.
And they're just...
the ticket itself was written, and it just was made aware of you have a hearing in 10 days and 14 days. And they're like, I don't even know what happened 60 to 90 days ago. I can't even... I'm unprepared coming to court. So it's like putting a blindfold, and it's whatever the inspector say against their word. You know what I mean? So,
and I've seen it with closings, believe it or not, because one of the things that we do now, when you first pull pre-title, we do everything, and we pull blights at that time, where we now have a check and balance in place, where just like when we do a file update the day before close to make sure an affidavit or nothing has been recorded, we have to do a blight check, because there's been cases where a blight was in rotation, the violation, and they just issued it. It was a violation written, and now they've issued the actual ticket.
Right.
And it fell within that time of us going to close and the new owner, and now they're calling us saying this, you guys didn't pick up this ticket here, and it was during closing. And that's because it popped up right before closing. So, I mean, I don't know the internals of that, but it's something huge. And again, they say it follows the owner, but...
Yeah, it does.
If you got your new owner that's trying to, again, you pulling permits and other stuff, and these blights are out there, it could create problems.
Yeah. And I mean, I fought on behalf of my clients some of those old violations. Like, come on, like the ownership done changed 2-3 times. Why am I responsible for this?
And we look at
accountable for what I did not.
We look at warranty deed transfers too. We look at, was this a tax foreclosure property? Because if you got some 2008s and we freaking 2026, all that comes into play. You know, so when we're looking at things, we're like, okay, this is from 2010, this is from 2012. Yeah. My new owner they just got the property in 2015. Let's be realistic here. So a lot of that is taken in consideration. But in my perspective, my thought is just like I want to talk about water. If it doesn't apply when I go plug in the address, why do I got to keep seeing it? Why, if some of this is inactive, why can't we remove it from?
Yeah, why is this account still reflected?
But that's the we got to get a city rep down there on that seat.
Yeah, for sure.
Need one.
Look, Detroit Water Sewer
Department
representatives, we need you.
Tap in.
How do you? Okay, so tell us from your perspective or from your process. New owner, now you got a renter. The tenant, they're lined up. Steps for setting up the new account and getting them going with their own account.
For the water?
Yes.
We do that before we even market for a tenant. So I usually have my maintenance utility team. Once we have identified and have everything, all of the answers that we need as far as, okay, this is our plan of action.
Okay.
If that item has not been addressed, they don't have their owner account, then that's the very first thing we do. We reach out, we make sure we have all the documentation on their behalf. The property manager has to have an agreement on file. You must have an agreement on file in order to communicate any communication on behalf of that owner and their account. Otherwise, the owner is going to get pulled in every single time you're communicating on their behalf with the Detroit Water Sewer Company specifically.
Yes.
If the lease is not written from the owner to the tenant and it's written from the property management company to the tenant as the managing agent and the liaison, you need to have your management agreement on file with the water company as well. Yeah. So we also, being the property managers, receive a copy of any notification that comes from the Detroit Water Sewer Company. So if the owners say that they did not get it, we did. Okay. So it's just an extra, measure to help get ahead of any issue.
Okay. So you have the tenant, after you've set the owner up with the primary account, when you get a new tenant, you have them set up a tenant account?
Yep. Nobody gets keys if they don't have proof of utility transfer. So that include confirmation number, account numbers, and my team, actually now, unfortunately, we call and verify. And make sure that those account numbers are accurate.
I do. I just had to get hip to that because I was like, oh, wait a minute, let me make sure, because
check the font. That's all you got to do.
Well, sometimes too, some owners, especially some tenants, especially in multifamily, they get confused, especially if the buildings have different addresses.
Yes.
Then that's another reason, because I just experienced that. I had an owner say, I'm getting a utility bill, and the tenant's like, but I'm paying my utility bill. And I'm like, what's the address on your utility bill? And come to find out, it was the wrong address. So that's just the reason why, if you get ahead of it when things come through the door, it's just our property managers' plates is just overwhelming full just on a day-to-day. Just from an operator standpoint. Try to eliminate as much as you can by being proactive in the areas you can.
Okay, one more question on water before, they move out. Do you file that vacative affidavit?
Yes.
Within that 21 day?
Absolutely.
I love you.
Absolutely.
I just love you.
I've seen the fire from not doing it. So it's like,
can you tell our audience about that vacative affidavit? Because when I bring that up, I get crickets on the other end of the phone. And I'm like, well, why are we doing this?
Because what you don't understand as owners, if you don't file it, you adopt it. So you have to file that this tenant has vacated, because if the tenant says, hey, I vacated, I turned in my notice, and the owner didn't turn in their form, then the owner can adopt that bill. And now you want to fight and go after the tenant when you should have just,
that vacate.
So where do you get that document from?
On the Detroit Water Sewer Company website. It is.
And when should that document be filled out?
It should be immediately. If you know that this tenant is leaving on the 31st, then go ahead and set it on the 31st. I would say within the first 7 to 10 days. Just get it out the way.
Okay.
Yeah, don't wait till
maybe
the
like
last
when you do your
minute.
final walkthrough after they move out.
Yeah.
When you're doing like getting the keys back.
Yeah. When we have 30 days to close out the tenant statement, so just add it to the process and just get it done. Know your timeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
Now, as a property manager, I have adopted some clients that have come from previous property management companies.
Yeah.
And it's been a shit show. It has been a clusterfuck.
Oh.
It is
the CF.
Horrible.
Okay. CF.
Oh, it's
big CF.
Unimaginable. Like I don't understand, and help me out, Tierra. do you think it's because of lack of education that we get these people? I feel bad for them. Like I'm dealing
These
with
people as in the tenants?
the owners, because like I got an owner right now. I feel so terrible for him, right?
Yeah.
He was promised that this property was rehabbed, and the unit downstairs, the only reason it wasn't being rented out was because the property manager didn't know. She didn't know why it wasn't being rented out. And he had paid for all of this rehab work. And when I got in there, we have a darn gas. No, we have an electrical stove, no 221 line for it to hook up, right? So it needs a gas stove. Mm-hmm. The cabinets were all old and beat up. Like, the electrical is horrible. It's a leak in the back room. He paid for the roof to be fixed, but when you go to the addition, it's pouring down, raining. Like, and then in the basement, it was nothing but trash. One of the heat ducts was rusted out with a hole in it. So it was so much. And I feel so bad because he's out of state, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, like, why do you think property managers do this? Is it for greed, lack of education, or laziness, or maybe like a lump sum?
So there
All in
are
one.
All in one.
every property manager is not the same. In the pool, you have a lot of unlicensed property managers. If you are a real estate agent, you are not a real estate broker, and you are out here stating that you do property management, you are waiting for Laura to slap you with at least a minimum $10,000 fine.
God damn, how much?
A minimum of $10,000.
So what's the steps?
Even if it's a mistake, they don't care.
So you have to be a licensed realtor or a licensed broker
No, a
You have to be
licensed broker.
a licensed real estate broker
before you can become a proper
before you can provide property management services.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then however you are marketing, if you are ABC Realty, your ABC Realty needs to have a brokerage license to operate as a property manager.
Yeah, you did explain that to me.
You can't be Jane Doe and saying, I'm out here doing property management under ABC, but you never apply for the license for
property.
ABC.
Oh, okay.
So you just want to make sure your stuff is structured. So let's start there.
Okay.
That's the number one. Two is, even as real estate brokers, they lack experience as property management, as maintenance management, as compliance management. And with that, you don't know how to be proactive with looking at some things, how to inspect or protect the liability of the owner.
Right.
So that, unfortunately, the owner do suffer from that. There are some companies that they're just too big and they have so many staff, they have a whole lot of clients, and they just lose control of the wheel. So
I have to ask. I have to interrupt there. I mean, all that's great, and I get all that, but how, in good conscience, it sounds like in Marlisha's case, you take on your property management from taking on, sounds like a rehab job. I'm assuming this investor has sent you money to get the property rehabbed fully and then turn around and find a tenant. How, in good conscience, can you accept this money and not properly follow through with the rehab job? I mean, you can.
If you're a property manager who do not have maintenance management experience, you should not be taking on that type of job.
Okay.
Licensed property managers typically have somebody on their team. Like I don't care how long I've been.
You say the word team for you. It sounds like you have a team for.
You have to
every aspect.
Yeah,
of it.
you have to depending obviously on how many houses, but or properties, but you have to have a team. Somebody has to have the knowledge and experience. You know what I mean? We can't figure this all out together.
Just a one man.
When I go and it's an electrical issue, there are some things I know about electrical, some things I know about mechanical, some things I know about plumbing. But these are the masters. I always roll with my team when we addressing these issues. Marley should know.
Yeah.
We've serviced some of her clients, and I show up with my team member.
Yep, and
who
we
has
walk
that license. I have a license
that area,
but they have a license in that area. And now I'm looking at some stuff that my license lane, cover, and they're looking at some things that their license lane cover. Okay. So most property managers are not equipped with a team that can be able to have their back like that, and then they don't even know what to look for in a team, because now you got to find the right person that can have your back, and you can't do business with everybody. But the owner at the end of the day suffers from all of that. They suffer. They're the ones at the end who suffers from all of that. So owners do have to do better due diligence with choosing their property management team.
And how would they do that? How would they? I'm an owner. I'm new to this. I cashed out the 401k.
And my agent told me to go over here and call ABC Property Management.
How do I know that they're? I mean, what questions should I be asking them, or what should I be looking for to know that they're on top of their game outside of going to Google review or something?
You want to know about their experience. You want to know. I have had people ask me why I've gotten started. If I have reference, if I have other clients that don't mind providing a reference on my behalf to them because they're looking to bring their business over to me. You can also ask more questions in depth about the team, the experience of the team. Who am I going to be working with on this issue? Who am I going to be working with on this issue? How is your communication system set up? You want to ask more questions. The more, it never, just ask as many questions as you possibly can. And that's usually when owners are in a better position, I found, as far as having more success in the real estate investment game.
Do you send your owners pictures of the progress, or do they have a portal they can go to? Like if they just purchased one, it's a full rehab. Now they turning everything over to you. Or am I just sitting up in LA somewhere just wondering when I'm gonna get a tenant? Or do you actually communicate with me and say, okay, you can go in the portal and get pictures, or here's pictures of.
For rehabs that I have been hired to project manage. Once we identify, am I bringing my team or are you bringing your own contractors?
Oh, okay.
Because that's a thing too.
I'm going to bring my own contractors.
Ooh.
Okay.
How does that work?
So I'm probably gonna be a stickler because as a project manager, you're still the one who's gonna take the fall if something goes wrong, regardless. So you want to have a condition inspection set up on a frequent basis.
What's a condition?
Typically, that means that if this contractor, depending on the depth of the rehab and how long it's going to take, what's the scope of work, you determine your frequency of how often you're going to go to that property. Are you going to go when they say that they are at this 40% mark? Are you going to go when they say they're at this 60% mark? Are you going to go every single week just because? Every job can be different depending on the circumstance. But to answer your question, yes, you do go out, you provide videos, you do go out, you provide photos, you do go out and you make sure that not only you provide these details to the client, but you also make sure that they're fully aware of every progress point. So then that way they know, are we meeting our timeline? Are we being delayed by our timeline? And if so, why? And if there are any change orders, which typically can't happen.
Over how much?
It doesn't matter. If we couldn't identify this from the initial evaluation because it just wasn't at surface, we had to open up something and now we see that this is an issue, then you let them know right away. Hey, you might have to do a Zoom, you might have to do a full video, give them as much detail as possible because we're here, we're their eyes, ears, and their feet on the ground, they're not here. So the bigger the picture that you draw for them, the easier it is for them to, first off,
digest, accept that, like,
it's like, oh, I made more money. And then also you just let them know these are the next steps and this is how we address it. And then you just follow those steps, you address it, and then you move on.
So, and with that being said, you can agree that an owner should be more involved with the rehab. Like, they should. And I always say, I don't trust nobody with money. I don't care who it is. I ain't trusting you with the money. So we know that everything always start off good with the contractors, you know, Johnny on the spot. Next thing you know, all type of shit start happening, right? They're falling out. They're eating the birds. They're eating the cats.
You had to
they're eating the
contractor.
dogs. They're eating the dogs.
Now you got somebody coming in behind another contractor.
Exactly.
Contractors hate that.
Exactly.
They hate coming behind somebody else's work. So
you would agree that the owner needs to at least take that accountability on themselves to make sure that they are actively communicating and wanting updates as far as where they're at in the process of the project.
5-minute hand already?
We diving in. We got deep.
I know.
We did.
I do. If it is a large rehab, I strongly encourage that we have scheduled travel dates to where the owner comes out and come and check out your property and make sure that you're satisfied.
Okay.
Because we can be satisfied remotely all day, especially if it's a flip.
Yeah.
If you're flipping a property, come see your property and make sure that you are satisfied, because you have to write the final check to these contractors.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you know for a fact that you are satisfied. And if not, then we can go through with our blue tape, mark everything up, and then we give them a timeline. Go ahead, correct it. Let's move forward, and then close it out.
You want to hear something funny?
What's that?
Since we walked that one property, I ain't heard nothing else about no damn heat.
I know.
I know. I ain't heard nothing else about
So I just, for shits and giggles, on the residential end, what type of tenant complaints do you get? The water not flood, the water not, the toilet overflowing.
I'm locked out.
I'm locked out. I'm locked out.
I'm locked
Yeah,
out.
they lose their keys.
Or I don't have any heat. And then the first thing you ask them is, how did you set your thermostat? Is it on auto or is it on fan? It's on fan. Let's move it to auto to make sure that your furnace essentially can work, because you're just blowing your motor. You also ask them, did you change your filter? When is the last time you changed your filter? Because
That's their responsibility.
Yeah.
In the lease is their responsibility. It can be where you might have a slow leak, clog. Oh goodness, the tub is clogged or the sink is clogged. Especially if you're doing your hair.
You
at
go
the
over there and
sink
pull all
lens.
that hair, get all
If
that
you're
hair
doing
out
your
of there.
stop doing your hair at the sink. But we go out, we take pictures. If they're responsible, then we will charge the tenant back.
I was going to
for
ask,
those
is there a
items.
trip fee or an inspection fee for that type of
we
stuff?
will. But if it's a lockout, then most cases we just tell them call the locksmith, and the locksmith will come let them in.
Why?
And they have to pay the locksmith when they come out.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
you're residential and commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Miles then told us that we got to wrap this shit up.
He gave us a 3 finger.
Okay.
Oh, that should be the new one. It's time to go.
That's our exit song.
Yeah,
Miles.
you gotta have to tell us that.
So, Tierra, thank
Man,
you so
wow.
much,
Walking.
Mrs.
Wow.
Petway,
Thank you for having
for
me.
coming on the State of Mind podcast.
Knowledge.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Tell these
was
lovely
fun.
people where they can find you at.
You can find me on Facebook at Tierra Petway. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can also find me at Sunbeam Property and Construction Management on Facebook. And then we are now on Google under the Realty team doing business as Sunbeam Property and Construction Management.
Thank you. Thank you. It
thank
was
you.
a blessing having you
It
on.
was. It was.
Thank you.
Very knowledgeable.
You the GOAT. You the GOAT. You know.
I'm trying to keep the edge.
And I could be an extra in the next photo shoot too. Just let me know. I'm there.
And as always, Emma, tell the people where they can find you at.
Well, you know where you can find Double E. Detroit Title and Escrow, www.detroittitleandescrow.com, 248-767-8250. We have a Facebook Detroit Title and Escrow page. We have my page, of course, and then Instagram, _EE Detroit Title. Take care.
All right. And as always, it's your girl, broker Marlisha Darnell on all platforms. And we will see you back next Thursday, 12 o'clock. A State of Minds better be here.
That part. Thank you so